Hi there, this is Doris Spencer of Library Arts. Are you familiar with the story Wolfie the Bunny? It's a delightful story about friendship, siblings, family, and it's the perfect start for wonderful parent and child or young child craft. So today I'm going to do a read aloud of Wolfie the Bunny, and then I'm going to walk participants through a wonderful little craft of creating little clay characters in a little setting that allows them to retell the story of Dot and Wolfie and the bear. So let's get started by going over the materials and having a read aloud. See you soon. Wolfie the Bunny by Ann Dykeman and illustrated by Zachariah O'Hara. Let's get started with this great story. The Bunny family came home to find a bundle outside their door. They peeked. They gasped. It was a baby wolf. He's adorable, said Mama. He's ours, said Papa. But Mama and Papa were too smitten to listen as Dot said, "He's going to eat us all up," said Dot. Wolfie slept through the night. Dot did not. Mama served carrots for breakfast. "He likes them," said Mama. Click, click. "He's a good eater," said Papa as he's taking photos. "Speaking of eating," said Dot, "he's going to eat us all up." But Mama and Papa were too busy taking pictures to listen. Dot's friends came by to see the baby. "He's sleeping," whispered Mama. "He's a good sleeper," whispered Papa. "He's going to eat us all up," they screamed. "No kidding," said Dot. "Let's play at your house." For the first time, Wolfie cried, but Dot was too far away to hear him. When Dot returned, Wolfie was waiting. Everywhere Dot went, Wolfie went too. "He's drooling on me," said Dot. "He's a good drooler," said Papa. The days passed, and Wolfie grew. So did his appetite. When Mama opened the cupboard, she got a surprise. "The carrots," said Mama, "they're gone." "Oh no," said Papa. "He ate them all up," said Dot. Dot fetched the carrot bag, but she did not get far. "He wants to help," said Mama. "He's a good helper," said Papa. "He's going to—" "Oh, skip it," said Dot. "I've got my eye on you, Buster." Wolfie and Dot went to the carrot patch. What do you think they're going to get at the carrot patch? They got a special bag for it. Dot was picking one last carrot when Wolfie's mouth opened wide. "I knew it!" cried Dot. "On guard!" But Wolfie wasn't looking at Dot. Uh-oh. "Dinner!" roared the bear. It was Dot's chance to run away. Instead, she ran forward. "Let him go," Dot demanded, "or I'll eat you all up." The bear blinked. "You're a bunny," he said. "I'm a hungry bunny," said Dot. "But I'm bigger than you," said the bear. "I'll start on your toes," said Dot. Dot means business. Look at that tough Dot. She's showing him who's in charge here. "Help!" cried the bear. "She's going to eat me all up." Whoops. And as he runs away, he falls right on Wolfie. Dot relaxed as the bear ran away. "We're safe," she said. Then Wolfie pounced. Uh-oh. And of course he gives Dot a big hug. Come on, little brother, let's go home and eat. And that's the end of our story, Wolfie the Bunny. So now that we've read our story, let's go ahead and get started talking about our project by going over the materials we're going to need for our project today. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so now that we've finished reading the book, Wolfie the Bunny, let's look at the characters in the book. Your main characters are going to be Dot, who is over here standing with her mother. This is little Dot, the bunny. And then you have Wolfie as an infant here. And of course, Wolfie gets a little older. And then he likes to wear this little bunny costume. And I think we're going to try to make him look a little older in his bunny costume. We're going to make Dot. And of course, we're going to want to add in the adventure of meeting up with the big bear. So those are the three characters we're going to create. And the whole idea for our project today will be to retell the story. So we're going to retell the story by creating a little base for our storytelling. I'm going to cover that base with some paper, and you'll have some shade of blue that I've given you. We're going to create a little building, and this building can be the Carrot Co-op, or it can be Wolfie and Dot's house, and I'll show you how to put that together. We're going to use some Model Magic clay in a lot of different colors, plus a little bit of black, so we can make all the characters. We're going to have some fun little gravel to add some interest to our little placing. We have some glue, a craft stick, and you might want to have a little bit of tape just so you can use it for the house. And to decorate the house, if you want to write some words, you can use some markers, some colored pencils, whatever you have, so that you can add some visual interest to your design. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to basically create all the elements so that you can retell the story on your own. So in the next video, we'll get started by preparing the base and making our house. See you in a moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started by preparing your base. You already have a cork round here. We're going to take that glue that you have, and it's quite drippy, this glue, so just give it a little wipe. You don't need a ton of glue for this, but I want you to just put a little bit of glue on the back of that circle of blue paper you have. And this is just going to be a little play base for to cover up most of the cork. It's not going to cover all the cork, but it's just going to give it a nice centering for where you can retell your story of Wolfie the Bunny and Dot. So I'm just going to flip that over, and I'm just going to center it on my cork and give it a nice smooth down. Now this is pretty good heavy paper, so it shouldn't bubble too much. And now you can put that aside for the moment while we work on your house. Now the houses come in different shades of pink. I've already pre-folded, pre-scored the house to make it easier for you to work with. But in the story, you might remember that when they go back to the store to buy the carrots, they go back to the Carrot Co-op. And that's what I was thinking, that maybe the Carrot Patch Co-op. So your child may want to, decorate the house to look like the Carrot Patch Co-op. So that's what I'm going to do with mine. And I'm going to first show you how it's going to go together. So this is going to be a little house. So each side of the house, there's a couple doors, there's a roof line, there's a side, and this allows your child to put characters in and out of the house and tell their story. But we don't want to tape it together yet because we want to be able to draw on it. So I'm going to write here on the top, I'm going to write Carrot Patch, just like that. Now, I think that being a co-op with lots of vegetables for sale, that they might have some, plants growing up here, maybe some little flowers or grasses. So I'm going to just draw some little shapes and have a little fun here. Going to put maybe some little flower shapes growing in front of the Carrot Patch Co-op. Maybe I'll take another color and I'll add some blooms, little blue flowers on the Carrot Patch Co-op here. It's a friendly place to visit to go buy your carrots or whatever vegetables you need. And we're going to come to the other door. And maybe over here we'll write that it's a co-op. So the co-op. So co-op. Oops, make that a P. And then over here, we'll put some more, you know, they're selling, they have bamboo, they say for sale. So I'm going to put some bamboo shoots here with little bamboo growing off of it. Or maybe these could be lettuce or spinach leaves that rabbits would like to eat, or other animals that are vegetarian. And so that's that. And then maybe I'll put a window on the side and a window on the side over here. You can just do whatever you want here. And I'm just going to put a little frame around my window and a little frame. And then maybe I'll have, you know, carrots growing in a row, since that's what they want to go buy, are carrots. At least in this window, I'll have some carrots growing. In another one, maybe over here, I'll have some fruits, different size fruits that people can buy. And you can color that in and detail it any way you want. So that just creates a fun little decoration for your house before you put it together. So after you decorate it the way you want on the outside, we're just gonna flip it over, and this is where your tape is gonna come in handy. Just gonna want a couple pieces of tape. And you're gonna notice that basically it's pretty easy to put together. In fact, I'm gonna put a half piece of tape right here on the edge. See a little bit of tape? So that all I have to do is bring it over here, hold it in place for just a moment till I can get these two edges to line up, and they line up. And I can just tape that corner down, and I'll put a little piece of tape on the inside too, just to make it nice and strong. And that way I can have my little house like this. So here's my little house. I can turn it around, show you all the different ways to see it, and then now you can create a house of your own. Have fun, get your base glued to your cork with the blue paper, and work on your little house. See you in a moment. Okay, welcome back. So now we're ready to use our clay to create Dot, Wolfie, and the bear. So why don't we start with Dot. Dot is a little bunny, two little bunny ears, kind of a beige color with a white eye, and a little red hoodie. So we're gonna start with Dot. So if you undo your clay, since Dot is a beige color, what I'm gonna suggest is that you stick with the brown and some of the white. And the key thing to do here when making your characters is to think of the scale, meaning that the scale of the figures should work with the scale of the house that we already created and not make them too big. Now Dot is going to be a combination of white and brown clay. So when you get your white clay, you want to take a portion of it so you can save some for working with Wolfie in a minute. And I'm going to take a portion of the brown clay because I'm going to need some of that clay again to create the bear. So in order to create the color of Dot, we're going to start by just mixing and kneading with our fingers the brown and white clay to kind of create a beige tone that makes sense for Dot. I would definitely do more white than brown. I'm going to take a little bit more white, but always keeping in mind that I want to keep some of that white to make Wolfie in a little bit. So let's just keep that in mind. So let's make a nice light brown bunny color. And if you want to make it more yellow instead of tan like I'm doing here, you can always do that. I'm going to take a little bit more white to keep Dot looking a little bit lighter. That's better. I think that's a nice soft tan. And again, if you want to add a little yellow, you can. But once you mix it thoroughly, by stretching and folding it, you'll be ready for the next step. Okay, so here is Dot. We're going to roll her into a ball to get that clay shape. Now, we're just going to pinch out Dot's head. We're going to maybe pinch a couple pieces off the bottom to make 2 ears for Dot. 1. And I'm just making 2 little cylindrical kind of shapes, 2. So there are 2 bunny ears that I just attached to the top of Dot's head. And now Dot has a little red jacket. So I'm again pulling off just a bit of the red. I'm going to try to make enough, take a bit more of that red actually, to make a little jacket that's going to wrap around Dot's body to look like a jacket. And then I'm just going to pull out a couple arms for Dot. So there's one arm. And I'm going to take a little more red clay and make another arm. So here's Dot in her little red jacket. And we'll pull that down just a little bit. Now, Dot has a single white dot, if you remember. That's maybe why she's called Dot, over her eye. So I'm going to put a white shape on the front of her face. So again, here's her red jacket. Here's her white dot on her face. And I'm going to just simply take my black marker now, and I will show you what I'm doing here. I'm just going to put a dot for her eye and a little eyebrow. So there's one eye. I'm going to put the other eye over here and a little eyebrow with my marker. And then I'm going to put a nose and 2 little lines for her mouth. So that is Dot with 2 little red arms, a white eye, and of course we want to put a little red bow in her hair. So I'm just going to make a tiny little red bow that we can put right up in between the ears to make it look like Dot. So there's Dot. Pretty simple. Okay, we're going to put Dot aside, and we can actually put Dot on the base here next to the house. And this is great because I can lift Dot into the house and out of the house to tell my story. So there's Dot. Now, next we're going to make Wolfie. Now, Wolfie is going to be pink because of the pink suit he's wearing with a little gray face. So let's start with the pink. So again, I still have white left over. I'm going to pinch off enough white to make Wolfie. I'm going to add a little bit of red. We definitely want more white than red. So look how much more white than red I have. We're going to mix it together to make a nice pink color for the wolfy kind of bunny suit he's wearing. And so I'm gonna mix this all together. And so what I'm doing when I add white and pink together is called tinting. So I am tinting the red by adding white. And I can actually add a little bit more. I still have white left to use for the bear. Add a little more white. Okay, now I'm gonna roll it in a ball again. And we're gonna make a little Wolfie body. And so we're gonna make Wolfie is going to be a pink, almost like a pink bunny. And here I can just actually use a pair of scissors to separate the two ears for Wolfie, because he's wearing this little bunny costume, isn't he? And we want to try to make him a little taller than Dot if we can, because Dot is the big sister, but Wolfie is so big that perhaps he will be a little taller than Bunny. Okay, so I'm going to stand Wolfie here for a minute, and I'm going to take a little more white clay and a tiny bit of this black, don't need much at all, to make a little gray face for Wolfie. And then of course we're going to have to make a nose in there too. So we want to make sure we have enough for the nose. So I'm again just kneading by pressing and folding my clay back and forth. Okay, so now I have a bit of a gray. Could use a little bit more white for Wolfie's face, I think. Little more white. So I'm going to mix that in there. That's good. And we're just going to, so here we have tinted the black to make a soft gray. And we're going to take a little bit of that tinted gray, add a little nose, because Wolfie's got that wolf nose coming out. So I'm just attaching it from the face there, so we can give Wolfie a little nose. And we're going to put it right on the front of that pink shape to make the Wolfie face. So we got Wolfie here with a couple eyes, 1, 2 eyes, a little black nose, which we could do with the marker, or you could use with some extra clay if you have, and a little smile. And we want to make sure we have a couple Wolfie arms. So I'm going to take a little bit of red, a little bit of white, mix it together to make that tinted pink again, just so I have enough to make Wolfie some little arms. This, take a little more white for that little bit, and I think I'll get the pink I want. Perfect. So we're going to add Wolfie's arms here, here, and here. So we have Dot, we have Wolfie. Oh, let's make sure those eyes really show up on Wolfie. There we go. That's a little Wolfie. And we have Dot. And now, of course, we're going to make the bear. So let's take some more brown clay and the leftover clay that we have of white, and we're going to blend the two together to make a lightish. It doesn't have to be as light as Dot, because I think it's important that the bear be big, right? So we're going to mix that with the bear brown. Just give it a little bit of lightness. I think I'm going to add a little bit of this yellow in here too, just to lighten it up a tiny bit more. Make it a little softer brown. Okay, so I'm mixing it all together. I'm folding it and folding it and folding it. Gonna roll it into a ball. And now we're gonna make, oops, I still see some of that yellow showing through. So let me just fold it a little bit more. Now we're gonna make our bear. He's going to be very large. He's going to have a large head, big body. and he's going to have that big nose coming out with a tiny bit of that black on the end of his nose. So we'll put him right here. And here is the bear. He needs a couple eyes. 1, 2 eyes. And actually, I think that the bear should have a couple arms. And instead of a white shirt, I think I'm going to put a yellow shirt on him because I have some leftover yellow. I could actually do red, or I could do blue, but I decided I like the idea of a yellow shirt on him. So I'm going to wrap this yellow around him as if he's wearing a yellow shirt. I'm going to pull out a couple arms here. One arm here, one arm here. There we go. So we have one arm. We have 2 arms. And this is the bear. And he's, you know, kind of the bully, isn't he? So we're going to pull his ears up. We're going to give him the black dots inside of his ears. I'm just using a little, you could use black clay, and I'm going to have him here. So that's our bear. Here's our Wolfie. Here's our Dot. So you have your characters and you have your house. So the only thing that we have left to do now is maybe have some fun just putting some little details onto our set here. So I'm going to make sure the bear is standing here, Wolfie is here, Dot is here. Now, one of the things that they're buying, remember, at the store is carrots. So let's make some orange clay. Did you know that red and yellow make a beautiful orange? Well, I happen to have a little bit of the yellow left over, so I can make some little orange carrots. And by taking a little bit of that leftover yellow, which I have over here off screen, I can actually make not only a carrot, but I can make some green stalks too. So in the next video, we'll finish up by making some carrots. We'll add some fun little dots around the image, and then you'll have your own play set ready for your Wolfie the Bunny story that you can tell over and over again. See you in a minute. So at this point, we have our Carrot Patch co-op. We have our 3 characters, Dot and Wolfie, of course. And then there's the bear. Causing all kinds of drama. Now, taking the leftover yellow and blue, red, we can make some really pretty orange just by mixing those 2 colors together. And I use my orange to make some little carrots. And then by using some leftover yellow and blue, by mixing them together, and I'll show you really quick, a little less blue and a little more yellow, you can make a really fun color. Can you guess what's going to come out of this? It's going to be, it's getting there, it's going to be green. And the green, of course, I can use to make the little stalks on my carrots. So I'm going to put my carrots down here. Now I can lay them down as a bunch or leave them as individual pieces. But here's my green clay, perfect for making little carrot tops. Then I'm just using a little bit of my leftover glue to make a little border using some of the fun little aquarium gravel pieces I have here. And it just helps to finish off the story stage. It's almost like a little stage for your child to retell the story. That glue will dry clear. So if I leave my carrots here, put the house or the Carrot Patch shop here, I have room for Dot, Wolfie, and here's the bear. Maybe the bear will be inside the house. But anyway, you end up with a delightful little story set where your child can retell the story of the bear, and dot. And you know what's even fun? If you put a D for dot with your marker right on top of the clay, or you could write dot out, and actually it might be kind of fun to put a W for Wolfie here. So you have Wolfie, Dot, and the bear, and they're all together ready to retell and reimagine the story as many times as you would like. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. This is Doris Benter of Library Arts. I hope that you stay safe, you stay creative, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.